our topic is Azure DevOps. So what is Azure DevOps? So Azure DevOps is a name given to a tool. So Azure stands for the cloud platform, which is developed and designed by the Microsoft. So it represents Azure. So whatever are the solutions and services provided by Microsoft, they came with Azure as a initial name or the brand name. So Azure repos, Azure projects, Azure DevOps, Azure functions. So every service which is provided by the Microsoft on a cloud platform. So Azure is the keyword which indicates the services belongs to the Microsoft, and Azure is a name of cloud platform. So Azure DevOps. So here Azure is a name from the Microsoft cloud which denotes the cloud services provided by the Microsoft. And DevOps. Here DevOps is a name given to the tool. So generally, when we talk about DevOps, DevOps is a culture, DevOps is a practice where we collaborate with everyone. So this is the way of develop software development, and it's an agile method, DevOps. So this is not the fixed definition of DevOps done by anyone. So it's a practice which is going evolved with time by time. But to get the advantage of that keyword, so Microsoft smartly gave a name as Azure DevOps to their tool. So before Azure DevOps, what are the alternatives available in the market? So these are the alternatives: Jenkins, which is widely used, then Circle CI, GitHub Actions, and there are many tools which provides the CI/CD facility. Then why Azure DevOps? The question, because all these tools are working they are very good, no issues. But when we have to talk about continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. So CI/CD tool is responsible for the automating the entire process of a software development lifecycle. So what is software development lifecycle? What is waterfall model? What is agile model? That we have covered in the early sessions of the our classes. But here, for the continuation, we will see in a very short what is software development lifecycle. So when we have anything, let's say we have to design an application. Let's take an example. We need to design a banking application. Let's say Bank of HDFC Bank. So let's take example. So this is HDFC Bank website. So now you can see this bank is website is ready, right? But let's say a client says like this is old GUI and they want to improve more. Like now it's a AI way and they want to have the more features and more powerful interface of a user. So then what will happen? Like how they will start? So HDFC management will come with a requirement, like they will get a feedback from their uh, teams leaders, like this site is looks like outdated, we want to give it a new touch, new experience to the user. Then what will happen? They will do a research in the market, like which are the companies like we can approach and they are good in software website development. So basically they will approach three to four companies, and then they will have a budget, like let's say they have to spend not more than 1 CR. So then they will find out the companies which are good in website developments, and they have a budget as well 1 CR. So they will try to find out the companies which are good in having good development experience, and uh, they can be fit into their budget. Because let's take example of buying a car. When we go to buy a car, there are multiple cars available in the market, but which car we choose? So it depends on our budget, like what budget we have. So let's say someone is having a budget of 10 lakh rupees, then he will never think of buying a Mercedes or BMW. He will look for the brands which will fit in his budget. The same way, the HDFC leadership, or they will allocate the budget for this based on the business requirement. So then what will happen? There will be a one person from HDFC Bank. Let's here in this case we will assume HDFC is a client, and let's say we we have our company upskill, and upskill got the requirement to design and develop the application for the HDFC Bank. So how we will proceed? So do direct developer will I will send developer to the bank directly to communicate? No. So my company will have my BU or b- so we call as a business analyst or product owner. So BA or product owner, which are in my company upskill, I will send them to the HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank, they will have their team which is involved in product development. So they will have their business product owner, like, and then they will collect the requirements. Like my BA, business analyst product owner, will communicate with the HDFC Bank representative, and simply we will try to understand what changes, or if even if it is a new website, we will try to figure it out. We will have a communication with the client, and then we will collect the requirements from the bank. Key what is required and what they need as from the web application. So this will be the phase of collecting of requirements. Then next, we will this business analyst or product owner will come to our UI UX team, and then we will design the application. So what are the requirements we have understood from the initial communications? Then we will design the application, and they will be initially they will do a wireframe, like, or Photoshop. So there are multiple tools where they will have just look and feel. Like they will say like I am creating a here. So they will say like I am creating a login page. Current login page is here, right? So someone they will suggest to create it here, or whatever they feel, they will create a rough diagram that called a wireframe, or they will create and they will show it to the HDFC Bank. And then this is requirements which we will from the HDFC Bank. Then we will design it. And then once we got go ahead from HDFC Bank, then we will start developing it. And once we develop, then we will test it. And once testing is done, then we will deploy it. So these are the 5 phases of a software development lifecycle. And here in every phase, then deployment, we need to monitor it. So these are the phases of any software deployment. So based on the company to company, this phase may be vary, but this is the general approach, like how software development is done. But here you can see when the requirement is collected, so which team is responsible for that? So my BAs and product owners are responsible. Then for designing, my UX team or front end team is responsible for the designing of a application. Then for development, my developers are involved. Then for testing, my QA team is involved. For deployment, my DevOps team is responsible. And for monitoring, my SRE team is responsible. So now here you can see, software development phase, each phase, the different teams are involved. So now when they are doing a requirement collection, okay, so to track or keep everyone on a sync, we need a tool which will track what's happening in the software development lifecycle. So these are the teams which are working in the development of this website. But here, as a manager or as a company owner, I must have a visibility like what's happening and what is the progress. Let's say this HDFC Bank, they be they are working together, but HDFC Bank will manager will ask their BA like what's happening of status, and let's say they say like we have given the requirements and we have not received any feedback from them. Then this management will call directly to the salesperson like from my company, and he will ask like what is the status. Then if I want to have the visibility like what's happening in the this development, then there is a need a tool which will have ability to track the history like what's happening. So people were using some companies were using a tool called Jira. So you may have heard, or you may have you may those are working, you already have worked on the tools like Jira, ServiceNow. So these are the tools which are used to create the projects, and then projects into Apex and Apex into tasks, and then those tasks are assigned. Like here you can see like I have mentioned a BA UX. So this is not a single entity. There are also 4 to 5 people are working. But initially, like who is the main BA or who is the product owner, he will distribute the task in UX team also. So like 5 to 6 people will be working, or maybe minimum 2 or 1 people is working. But what they are doing, which page who is developing, then it will be tracked. So then there is a tool called a Jira or Scrum board. So you can have multiple tools or some, so that this will get tracked. Then for designing, they also needed to track. So the same tool will be used to design and planning. For developers, so developers will commit their code using a GitHub or similar solution where can be hosted. So they may use a GitHub, and then QA team may be using the tools like Selenium or any other tools which they are using. And for DevOps are the using the tools, all the tools which we need to use all the tools, right? So then DevOps team may be using a Jenkins to automate this, or Circle CI. Then SRE team may be using other tools like Prometheus, Grafana to monitor the applications. Then Microsoft have come to know like these are the need of each team of having a different tool, and then they decided to come with a solution like single tool will provide all the services. So then they came with solution called Azure DevOps. So prior to Azure DevOps, Microsoft were having a tool called as a Team City. So that tool was used for CICD purpose. But then Microsoft came to the know like they wanted to give a tool which is will serve all the purpose. So then they come with Azure DevOps, and this tool provides us to create the Kanban board, which provides the Azure Repo as an integrated part of Azure DevOps. Then in that tool only, we can write the test cases, we can write the pipelines, and monitoring also we can do, but that is not that much advanced. So we will see that. So here we come to know like why we are learning the Azure DevOps. So if you learn the Azure DevOps, you will get a clear picture of all the tools like what is happening. And once you are able to use the Azure DevOps using a YAML, then you can learn Jenkins and other tools which are required in your company. But the main advantage of Azure DevOps is if you go for a Jenkins Circle CI, they are work on a YAML way. So let's say if someone in the organization is not don't know how to write the YAML scripts, then Azure DevOps has provided a classic editors. So this is the advantage of Azure DevOps over the other tools. And Jenkins is an open source tool. So then when some companies where security is a major concern, like banking domain or aviation industry, So then they don't prefer any open source tool. Why? Because anyone can get the code and make a customization in it, and then they want someone to provide the support as well. So that's why companies don't use the open source tools. They go for the paid versions, because when someone is giving up money, then you ensure the more security, more reliability, and better service. So that's why Azure DevOps comes with a solution where all the tools can be merged in a single tool called as Azure DevOps. So how to install Azure DevOps? So again, there are approaches, like some people don't want to go to the cloud, just like banking domain. They never prefer to go to the cloud. They prefer on-premises hosting. So for them, there is a service, Azure DevOps can be installed as a Azure DevOps server. The difference is only when you have installed Azure DevOps server, you will be responsible to manage all the servers, to do the maintenance, and this will be hosted on your own premises. So you don't need to go for a cloud. You don't need to create any Azure account. You can host it on your local server, local on-premise environment. And for example, the company like startups who don't have their own uh, cloud center, data center, and they want to use it. So for them, there is a cloud solution called as Azure DevOps Services. So difference, there is no working difference, but difference is only hosting. If you are going for Azure DevOps Server, then it's a on-prem. On-prem means you are having access to that service, physical access. You can shut down the server. You can like you can do the you have and you are responsible for the maintenance of server, security of the response, all this Azure DevOps Server. But when you have Azure DevOps Service, then you don't need to have manage those servers. So everything will be taken care by the Microsoft. So this is hosted, or you can call it cloud. Functionality wise, there is no difference. But so this may be a question, interview question asked. If I don't want to go for Azure DevOps Services, then how I can use that? So the answer would be you can host your Azure DevOps server where you will be responsible for managing of this server and hosting of this server. So this is Azure DevOps Server and Azure DevOps Services. Okay, now how we can get this? Just open the Google and type Azure DevOps. Here you can see Microsoft Azure and Azure DevOps Services. So here you can see it is showing a services. It means it is a cloud hosted solution. And now here we can see what Azure provides us. So Azure boards. So like we discussed, like Jira like a tool. So that comes with the Azure DevOps Services. So Azure boards. So we can use this Azure boards. Then there is Azure Pipelines, a CICD tool, alternative to the Jenkins. So they all have merged in a one tool, and they have given name as a Azure DevOps. So then there is Azure Repos, where we can Azure Repos can be used as a GitHub, alternative to the GitHub. And then GitHub Advanced Security for Azure DevOps. So this is a layer of security. Then Azure Test Plan. So this tool is for the testing of creating a test scenarios, writing a test scripts for the QA team or testing team. And then this is Azure Artifacts, where we can store our artifacts. So these are the you come with the Azure DevOps when we go for it. So now here you can see they have given a in short details what is Azure DevOps. So it's nothing but agile planning tools. Like you can have your Scrum board on a Azure boards. Then for CI/CD, here they have given a tool which the advantage is it has a classic editor as well, and you can go with the YAML way as well using Azure pipelines. Then Azure Repos is unlimited free repos. So here you can have unlimited free repos. You can create the multiple repos on a Azure Repos for hosting the server. Then for security, you can see they have provided GitHub Advanced Security for Azure DevOps. So this is the code scanning tool, and vulnerability scanning and static code analysis can be done using Git. So alternative to this in market currently, the people use the other tools like Sonar Cloud. So those codes are responsible for the scanning your code. They check the coverage of a code, and if there are any vulnerabilities, that can be checked. So they have provided with this. And then Azure test plans. So manual and exploratory testing. So this can be achieved using this tool. And then Azure Artifact is nothing but your uh, packages which you create using CICD that can be stored. Just like we have a Docker registry, this is Azure Artifacts, which helps us to store your artifacts on a cloud basis. And these are the like what you can integrate. So this is the integration you can do with this tool. So here you can see they are giving a free account. So here you don't need to pay anything to buy this tool. But if you are going for the free tool, then there are some limitations. Okay. Then we have discussed, like for example, I don't want to go on a cloud-based service. I want all services on my on premises. Then there is a tool called Azure DevOps Server. So using this, I can go to Azure DevOps Server downloads. I can download the application, and here you can see they have Azure DevOps Server 2022.2 RC version, and I can download this just the way we download in Git from the server and install it. The same way you can download this and install it on your server, so that it will have this all the features which are available in Azure DevOps Services. So this is a two parts. One is on-prem and one is hosted. So we will be more interested in a cloud-based solution. So we can create our account, and here we can here it shows start free or start free with GitHub. So if you have a GitHub account, then you don't need to create sign up. So we will prefer start free with GitHub, and we will create our Azure DevOps account. So here you can see I have already created one account. That's why it directly taken us to the server. And here you can see dev.azure.com, and it is showing the practice origin. So this is the organization. So I will copy this link and open incognito mode so that you can see how we can create the account in Azure DevOps. So here you can see normal sign-in page has been opened. So I will click here on sign in with GitHub. So we already have an account on a GitHub. So I will prefer to use the same. So here you can see I have also requested you, all of you, to create a GitHub account. So click on sign in, and then one verification code will be sent to your email ID. So open your Gmail account and check the mail. So I have received a code on my mail, that is 334729. So it is asking how you want to authorize. So Microsoft Corporation by Microsoft Corporation. So this will authorize my, it will request my details from the GitHub, and it will identify like I am not the I am a human being. So that kind of authentication will be done. So I will allow here authorize Microsoft Corp. So it's like signing to the Facebook or Twitter using your Gmail account. The same way, just click next. So this is nothing but this is creating one more Microsoft account, and it will be linked to my GitHub account. So the same way like we saw like Twitter, Facebook, Insta, we don't create their account, right? What we do, we use the Gmail credential and select login with Gmail. So here it has taken automatically all the details which I have entered on my GitHub account. And now here I need to select the country from where I am accessing. So click on continue. It's very simple to create the account. Okay. Then it is asking me to create a project name. So I will leave it as Enroll to Upskill only. And project visibility, like whatever projects I am creating, that should be private or public. So here, if you must be understand the by name itself, if you are keeping it private visibility, then the only person who are part of your organization will be able to see the projects. And if you make it public, then you will work like a open source community, like the people contribute to Docker, Kubernetes. So that's why you can decide like what project you are going to create. Based on that, you will select the private or public. Then here you need to enter the captcha. It's simple login process, just like we creating any Gmail account, and click on continue. Okay, so now you can see we have successfully created an account, and we have created a project called Enroll to Upskill. So it is completely created. So now here you can see it is showing an overview. Overview is nothing but the summary about what your project has. So your project has boards, repos, pipelines, test plans, and artifacts. And then at the same time, you can see at the left panel, it is showing as boards, repositories, pipelines, test plans, and artifacts. So this is the advantage of Azure DevOps over other tools. Like here, you don't need to have your Jira board. You can integrate it with the same tool so that the team, like BA team, UX developers, QA, DevOps, and SRE, every can one can work under a single service provided by the Microsoft, that is Azure DevOps. So here DevOps refers to the name. So they just have given a name to the service. So people get confused like Azure, what is Azure DevOps means? DevOps practices using Azure. Like we say AWS in market, you can see the people say AWS DevOps, Azure DevOps. So they think like following DevOps practices on Azure. But here, Microsoft has smartly given name as Azure DevOps so that it will get a more popular and easy to remember. For example, like the people who are working in a DevOps, so you use the word DevOps a lot of time. If they have given a name like Team City, which they were using earlier, or something like similar to like Jenkins, or so then it was difficult to remember. But for anyone who's new in the DevOps industry, so he can easily remember the name Azure DevOps. So this is the smart movement played by the Microsoft to make the tool more popular. Okay, so let's have a look at what are the tools here. So this is an overview. Overview means it shows like what is the status of your project and other things. So here you can see it is showing a project status. So at like it's brand new account. So here we don't have anything data. So that's why it's not able to visit. Here you can see members is only one. So the one who I have created the account, I am the only one member of this Azure DevOps. So here it is showing up members one, no members are added to this. And here you can see it is showing a private, so which we have selected as a private. Then here is the option to invite. For example, if I want to add or invite other contributors, then I can add their email ID to this, so that just like yesterday we saw last session, we can add a contributor to the GitHub. The same way setup will be done. If I add an email ID, then that person will get a link to connect to this account, and he will be added as a member. Then using a setting option, I can give them a privacy. So here you can see it is showing the details of a and by Microsoft account and switch directory. So there may be cases like in your organization, there may be multiple instances of Azure DevOps, because every client we cannot host or we cannot mix the client data. So like some cases, some projects are strictly we need to maintain with the other Azure DevOps instances. So then here you can see switch directory. So then your client will you will have a client email ID, and using that you can switch to that account. So the interface will be same, but the data will be different. Like different projects, here you will see the different projects. So for that, using switch directory option will be useful. So if we have multiple Azure DevOps instances, so then we can log into those using the switch directory option. Then here you can see it is a setting. It is showing preview features, profile, time and local A, permissions, notification, theme usage, personal access token, SSH public keys. So these are the options. So we will what is personal access token versus SSH public keys. So for example, why we are using this tool, the first thing is like automation, right? But when automation will happen, so that we need to authenticate the other cloud platforms as well. For example, if you have to use a Azure function from the Azure, then here this is just a tool, and Azure function will be hosted on our other tool like portal.azure.com. Then to communicate these tools with each other, here SSH public keys and personal access token will be useful. So when we are looking the projects, then we are going to definitely use this, uh, and then you will have a clear idea what is personal access tokens and SSH public keys. Then usage, themes, notification. So these are the settings which we will use whenever we have need in our project. So here you can see marketplace manage extension. So these are the extensions like where we can use we can tools integrate the other tools as well with the Azure DevOps. So that's why it has shown a manage extension and marketplace. So these are the options. Then search, here is search button option as well. So if you have to search in a project or in a project name, then you can use this search bar and you can search the data which is required for you. Then here comes very important part. At the left bottom, you can see project settings. At the bottom of the left side, you can see the gear icon and their project settings. So I'm opening it project settings. So here you can see in the root of skill is my project name, and then description, like why I am creating this project. So let's make it a real scenario. Like let's give a name of SDFC website, and this project is created to develop SDFC website. So this kind of description you can write, and process basic. So this we will see, like we are using a free version. That's why it's showing a process as a free. So I will save it. So here it is asking me if you rename the project, then there will be consequences. So here you can see it's my blank project, hence I am renaming it, and I don't have any data here. So there are no references to this project. So here I can rename this. But in case if there is existing project, And if you rename it, then definitely it is showing like renaming this project is a disruptive action, can significantly impact all members. The new name will update across all version control paths, work items, queries, URLs, and any other project content. Project members may need to react, and all currently running builds may fail as a result of this change. So this may happen if you rename the project on a working repository. But here it's a blank project. We have no data uploaded here. So we can make the changes. So it is asking us to type the project name. This is just for, they have given a more time so that you will read the notification. So this is the purpose why they ask us to type, so that you will spend more time, and like people awareness flow will click here, and then they should not have any consequences. That's why they ask us to type it. And always make a remember, like whenever you are doing any changes and you got any notifications, anything, then you can read it and then act on it. So here you can see project administrators. So here currently only one member is a project administrator. So like this person will have the whole control of this Azure DevOps. If we want one more manager who can have administrative access, then we can create him as an administrator. Okay. Now here you can see it is showing a Azure DevOps Services, and here are the toggle keys. And these are for this project, for only for this project details, for this project purpose. So let's assume we are all using a Jira board, and our entire team is working on a Jira board. Then again, migrating then Jira to the DevOps will take us some time and not required, because it will not have any much difference. Rather than you have to just open the another URL to track the changes. But to migrate it to the Azure boards is again a complex challenge. So I don't want to use the Azure board service. So simply I can click toggle off, and this will be not available on the project setting on my HDFC website project. So this way, this is giving a flexibility, like what are the features you want to use and which you don't want to use. So here you can see, as I have turned off the boards, test plan has automatically disabled. And now it's hidden or grayed out. I cannot make any changes to it. So if I want to use the test plans, then I need to enable this service. Then this service will get automatically enabled. So here you can see, though you test plan is depending on a board service, but it is not, the board is not depending on test plan. I can turn off the test board plans, so there is no impact on the boards. And then artifacts. So artifacts is nothing but the packages like NuGet, npm maven. So some companies prefer like JFrog, tools like JFrog, where they store their artifacts. So if you are so let's this is the way like how you can migrate. So for example, if you decide to use this tool, then you will not completely migrate your project to the Azure DevOps at the first phase. What you will do, you will use Azure Pipelines at the first, so that as you will replace your Git CI/CD tool. And once you are confident and your all team is having good hands-on, then you will start using other services. Let's say to migrate the complete project on Azure DevOps to the existing project is not a possible in one go, and it's a lot of time consuming process. You will always prefer a step by step approach. At the same time, you are evaluating, like, so your team should be good with change, because if you are already set up something and then ask team to learn the new things again, it's a not acceptable by the other team members, because it is a it takes a lot of time, and then project delivery may impact. For example, if you are already working on a agile board using a Jira, and then you want to switch all the tasks which are present there where you have marked out your history, so it will take a lot of time, and then people will need some time to get used to it. So then it's, you will not prefer to use this Azure repos. For example, if you have a Git hub already set up and your all the repositories are on GitHub, in that case also you will not use the repos. So it's based on the scenario, if you are starting a new project and you are having a new team, then you can prefer to start use all the services of Azure DevOps. But they have given all the features which are required for the software development lifecycle. But it is not mandatory. It's your choice, like what features or what services you want to use and what you want to skip. So it all depends on the need and the status of project. If it's a new project and then your solution architect plays the key role, DevOps architect also plays the key role to decide this everything. So whenever you are joining any organization, you may not get chance to set up this. It may be already set up, but you must have the idea, like what are the features of Azure DevOps and what is the advantage of Azure DevOps over the other CI/CD tool we are going to each and every part of the Azure DevOps services. So here you can see this is an overview. Then there is a teams. So here, for example, you can see there are like Kanban board and other boards, right? So here I need to provide the access. So what organization do? They create a team. Like for example, entire QA team will have the set of accesses. And if any new person join to the QA team, then I will not manage his all access granularly. Simply, I will add that person to the team. Let's say I am creating here a team called as a QA, and whatever access I have given or whatever access are having to this team, that person will have by default those access. So here you can see QA team. Then BUs. So as per your requirement, like who are going to work on this and who are having the access, you can create the teams and you can make them a part of this team so that they will have access to all the services of Azure DevOps. Then there is a permissions. So this is a permissions means here you can see these are the first 6 groups are already by default created, and this is a project HDFC website team. This is a project which we have created, and then we created a one more team inside the project HDFC website. So then QA team here you can see, and you can see the description as well here. So build administrators. Build administrator means what? Whenever you are working on a application, you are creating a build. Like for example, if I am writing a code for calculator, so developer will write a text files. He will write only code. Then it's task of a DevOps engineer to convert that code into exe. For example, just now we downloaded one application, right? So here we downloaded this application. If I go to the properties, you can see this is .exe file, right? So whenever we download any application, it has a .exe file if it is a Windows-based application. So how to create that exe file? So you can see I have installed a calculator on my computer. So if I want to install a calculator, I need to download this kind of .exe file, and then only I can install this. So when developer writes a code, he writes code in a Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. So developer is just writing the line of code. So here just like we write some lines of code, developer will write a code. But our task to convert that code into this exe, so we call it as a build. So then what are the accesses should be? So this is provided by the build administrator. So here you can see members of this group can create, modify, and delete build definition and manage queued and completed builds. So this is a build administrator. So if we give added one member and we create, for example, we want to give access to them as a for a build, then he should be a member of the group called as a build administrator. Then There is the contributors. So member of this group can add, modify, and delete items within the team project. So within the team means if I added some person in a QA team, so he will able to see only the project HDFC website. He will not able to see the other projects as well, and it is not required. For example, in your company, there are a lot of projects or a lot of development is going on, but you will not have access to all the projects. You will have access to only those projects where you are working and where you are contributing. But some people like team leads or solution architect, they will have access to all the projects. So that's why it's the permissions set like contributor, project administrators. Then project administrators are one who will have entire access of this project. So when we create a first project like HDFC website, the entire project administrator will have access to all. Like he can add someone to this and he can remove someone. He can give the permission. He can enable, disable the project services like we saw. So that kind of administrator will be he will be there. Then project valid users. So member of this group have access to the team project. So these are readers. So readers like member of this group access the team project. So these are the accesses are divided into a project and team. So release administrator, members of this group can perform all operations on release management. So these are the by default permissions given, and we can create a new group. Just like here we created in last QA, and we can manage the permission for them. So I can create a new group. I will create a group called DevOps, and I can add members and I can give them some permission. Then there is a notifications. So these are the like areas where notification is like just like configuring the notification where you want to have a notification. Sometimes you can integrate Azure DevOps with your communicator. Like some companies use a Slack as a for a communication, or some use a Microsoft Teams. So for example, when build is releases build has been failed successful, so you will get a notifications on your Teams or Slack, so that you can manage it on Azure DevOps as well, so that you will get automatic notification on your Teams, like what is happening about the project. So you don't need to always keep check your release failed or succeed or not. So then this kind of notification you can manage it using. So here you can see it is showing notification build completes. When build is completed, then who will be notified? SDFC website team will be notified. So if you want to notify, or if you don't want to notify, then you can toggle switch on and off, so that you can decide here which notification you should get your team and which you don't want have the notification. So like this notification is a you can manage notifications. Then there is a concept called a service hooks. So this is used for the deployment process. So when we will have a project, so we can create we will have the complete understanding of service hooks and when we can use it. So then there is a dashboards. Like so dashboards are very important. Like if you have a dashboards, you can understand the complete overview of a project, what's happening and all. So these are the uh, dashboards which you can enable or disable. Then if you go to the pipeline section, here you can see agent pools are available. So this is the area where pipelines where we need to have a more focus, because the boards will be we will not we will use the board, but we will not configure it. Being a DevOps engineer, your Scrum Master will be responsible for creating a board, creating a pick, and assigning the task. So, as a member of our team, we will be responsible to work on the tasks which are assigned to us and complete those. So then we don't need to go deep dive into Azure Board's test plans. So more our concentration would be in a pipelines and artifacts. So here agent pools. So agent pools means what? So just like we take an example, if I write a code for a calculator and then I want to create a exe so that I can install an application, then I need to create the build using that code. So then there are tools which convert this line code to the exe. So the tools are, if you are using a .NET, then the tool name is MS Build. If you are using a Java, then there is a Maven. So depending on the language which you are using for development, it is a .NET, Java, Python, Node.js. So then the tool gets changed. And every tool, like for example, Git, for example, Java, then you have to use create a var files, jar files, and those are the builds. So that you need to create. And you will use those builds. But to process that, like for example, how we are doing we do the manual ways, right? So we need to install MS Build tool in our local machine. Then we need to run 3 to 4 commands, and then that build will get generated. So for that, when we are doing it manually, we are using our own machine or our laptop as a pool. But here, when you are using Azure DevOps, so we want everything as a automated way. So then we need to assign some machines. So by default, you can see Azure Pipelines. So this is nothing but a machine where all the processes or builds are generated. So this is Azure pipeline. For example, let's say we found our application is huge, and by default machine which is provided by the Azure is taking a lot of time. It's taking 30 minutes. So what we can do, we can add a pool, and here we can select the machine. So pool is nothing but consider it as a machine. So here you can see self-hosted. Self-hosted means on-prem or Azure virtual machine scale set. So here we have again option to either use our on-premises machine to create those builds, or we can go for Azure virtual machine scale set. And then we can have to make some changes to it, configure it. If we want to go for a self-hosted, then we need to install one agent on that machine, and then we can use it. So it is nothing but pools is nothing but the machines where builds will be generated. Then this is a parallel job. So this is a very important thing. Here you can see we don't have any parallelism available. Parallelism is what? For example, in my pool, I have a need of 4 machines. Then 4 machines will run simultaneously. So again, when we are using a free solution, then there is a restriction, like we will get only one parallel job if I am using a free service. If I am going for a paid server version, then here you can see currently free parallel jobs available to me is only one. And for public projects, I don't have any parallel jobs available. And for self-hosted, if I host my Azure DevOps on my on-prem server, then I have unlimited parallel jobs, because in that case, infrastructure is my own. Like Microsoft, I'm not going to use Microsoft infrastructure. Hence, it is providing me an unlimited parallel job in case of self-hosted. And for Microsoft hosted, here you can see I don't have anything. So here, if I want to change, I need to buy, or I need to, they will provide only one parallel job for the. So here you can see it directly redirects to the billing section where I need to insert my credit card information so that they can charge me. So here you can see Microsoft hosted. I can use 1,800 minutes for free. And for how many boards repos test plan? Basic users is 5, and basic plus test plan is a start free trial. So here I can have a free trial, and artifacts I can store up to of size 2 GB. So here you can see I have a 2 GB of limit. So if I am using a free service, then it's a limit. And if my artifact size is more than this, then I need to go for a configure the billing so that they will allow me to use the maximum service or maximum resources of a Microsoft. So then this is the settings. So retention policy, like for example, so these are the just basic settings which you can read it so that you will have a good knowledge about this. Then test management, again, it will not required by us. This will be done used by the QA team, but better to know. Then service connections. So here we need to establish the connections. When we are doing a deployments, we are pushing uh, the servers to run the application. Then we need to create a service connection. Then we will see this everything when we are doing our project. Then here you can see these build services. These are the settings, part of setting. Then artifacts, storage, like how much size of artifact we can store. So these are the settings. So tomorrow we will create our first pipeline using a classic editor, and we will complete this continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline, like CI/CD pipeline. We will be see it tomorrow. So hope you are enjoying this session. So we have already covered very good way what is software development lifecycle in our earlier sessions. So if you are interested, then feel free to buy those. And 3,500 rupees is a very minimal amount. And what we are charging, once you paid the fees, then your attendance will be regularly, and you will be join the sessions regularly, and your learning experience will be boosted. So here, training is a free, but if you have and we are providing a recording session, and along with record session we are providing notes also. So if you are enjoying the session, you can buy the recordings with 3,500 rupees, and you will get access to all the previous classes as well. And we are hosted all the sessions on YouTube, so you can watch those videos at your convenience in your mobile as well. We have created a private channel list. Only paid members will have access to that, and you can use it. And if you any friends of your family wants to learn the DevOps, refer this link, because we have just started this new tool, Azure DevOps, and we have just had an introduction about the tool. So if you want to enroll to your friends and family, ask them to join. Although the live training is totally free, we are not going to charge anything, and the same link will be used throughout the entire course. So you don't need to worry. But if you want to recordings, then only you have to pay the 1,500 rupees. Okay. So see you tomorrow. Thank you all. Keep learning, keep upscaling. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.